Welcome back. Mr. Denregu, your reaction, we have to wind down.
Yes.
Time is never our friend.
Well, I mean, from everything we've said, but I have a few things. We just need to be serious as a nation. We need to change our direction. We have been going the wrong way. We need to come back. Education is vital. It is key. If we don't have it, it's like a trillionaire who builds a fantastic house. Everything is there, technology, but the children are not educated. They're going to run it down. That's where I see Nigeria. We're rich in resources, we're rich in human resources, we're rich everywhere, but we need to concentrate on education. We need to teach, we need to, literacy has to be taken so seriously, at least to secondary school level. We need to get people to understand what it is.
University. Sorry, let me just give I can't help, there was something we were reading earlier. Someone that just passed out of NYSC cannot write one simple sentence. I have finished. I pray that God will grant me successful as I go into a...
It is because we have stopped investing. Listen, in those days,
maybe
to be a teacher is something that you wanted to do. It's a career for you, like she is. It's a career. You wanted to be a teacher, and even you came up with first class or your WAEC was A+. But you went into teaching. You went to university and you did education. Now, it is failures. People who have failed in the WAEC that they push to teaching.
No, they don't push them. They look for that job because that's the only job they can get.
That's what is available to them.
Listen to this. I thank God for spared my life to made me completed my NYSC successful.
Come on.
Some started the journey and die along the road. Not by my power, but God's mercy.
Everything
NYSC.
Everything is religion.
And her picture is there. This is from Facebook.
Sad.
This is a graduate who has just finished youth service.
And somebody's going to employ that person.
That person must have served as a teacher, you know.
Another one says, thanks you, Lord, I'm in a favor marketing now. That one I can't even translate into English because I don't know how to.
We're too used to short messages, abbreviations and all that.
I belong to a group.
But this one, today is my pass out. I'm very happy today. Thanks you, sweet Lord.
Finally, hold on here.
Congregation you. Felicitation with you on your passing out NYSC. May God have a successful for your tenure in your future.
And this is not a comedy script.
No.
Good luck.
Just asking.
This is certificate in hand, picture, posing, thanking God for finishing youth. Their faces are clearly there for you to see. Congregation you. Felicitation on, I mean, this is supposed to be English? For God's sake, write the message in your native language.
I think the first language spoken, they should use it as well to teach. I think there is well researched and agreed information that if you teach people with the first language spoken, all right, and then second language spoken can be optional, they always come out better speaking English.
But Mr. Denregu, there is an official language in this country.
So what's the place of the lingua franca?
No, see.
There's an official language. You go to school and you are taught in Yoruba, then you do your exam in Yoruba. When you finish, when you graduate, or when you enter university, will you be taught in Yoruba?
No, you will not be.
The answer is no.
And
when you finish school, are you going to apply for a job in Yoruba? No. Are you going to write your application in Yoruba?
My point is, it is well documented that when they learn the first language properly and understand it, it is easier for them to understand the second language.
Okay. Ito. We have to go.
This is, I am a teacher and I am proud to be one.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot is changing and it's private initiatives, but it is changing. We would wish that we would have more support, okay, but we are not going to just sit down and fold our arms because we're waiting for support from the government. We'll do, the best we can and hope that the incremental efforts will yield. Now, there was a certain write-up that was going on, I think, on social media about, an exchange between a teacher and a professional who was supposed to be a business mogul, a billionaire, and he says, I make so much. What do you make? And in summary, the teacher says, I make students sit down, read, And listen, I make them do so many things their parents cannot make them do. That's what I make, and that's my pride. Now, the quality of teachers is, sadly, you find those in the private schools. Now, those teachers invest in themselves. When they get an education, it doesn't come cheap. They no longer go to the colleges of education. They speak properly. They inspire confidence in you to entrust their children to you, which is why I tend not to agree completely with what he said about the bulk of the fees you pay going to real estate.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know that a certain amount goes to that infrastructure, and we have to look at that. But there are learning resources that are expensive. There are also, the workforce in the schools that cost money to pay. Now, I speak to my children's teachers, and I am confident that they are imparting knowledge. They are not, when they sit in sessions with you, to counsel you, realizing that education is a partnership.
Okay.
It is between the parents and the teachers. So I think that we need to look again. It's much more than it's expensive.
Absolutely.
It costs money. It does cost money.
Yemi, parting word.
Parting word. Just two things I want to say. There's a need for us to scale up. All these pockets of excellence we have. I mean, we're talking about 12.5 million children, and you have a private school that has 60 students. Those 12.5 are going to marry themselves, right? And because they're going to marry themselves, they're going to have more children than your children that went to school, who are told the importance of child spacing and all of that. So those 12.5 are going to marry themselves. They're going to have children before your children will, because they didn't go to school. So what's going to happen in the next generation? Those 12.5 will potentially, each pair of them will produce between 6 and 10 children, because that's what's been found. Your own children who went to the best of schools are going to have 1 or 2 children. So what is happening in our generation is that the educated ones are in the majority. That's where we can speak. If we don't act now, the uneducated ones, because of geometric progression, will be in the majority in years to come. And that's why we need to scale up and not celebrate the little lights we have all over the place in the private schools, which is excellent and great. What I want to appeal to everybody is that schools resume in the next 1 week. Everybody should look out for a public school in his vicinity and go and do something there. There are people that will resume to schools, there are no tables. There are people that will resume to schools, there are no chairs. You can show up on Monday and give them a table and a chair. You're not solving the problem of world hunger. Right. What will shock you, talking about excellent teachers, I went to a public school. I went to a public secondary school. Proudly so. The question is, if we keep supporting the private schools, more people go to the public schools. And that's why we can't afford to leave the quality of teaching at that level. We must elevate the level of teaching in our public schools.
Thank you very much.
And most of our leaders went to public schools.
I did.
Thank you. I did. Thank you very much. Ito Ugoji, early year professional, Yemi Fayam, education consultant, and Olufemi Adenregun, youth development consultant. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
So, as we'll be back in a moment, please don't go away.